Sorry. Okay. The desire of multiverse is to showcase multiple universes and unheard language. In other words, each book in the multiverse series gestures towards a correspondence that exceeds what is normal and normative in our society, questioning what literary culture is, has been, can be. Everybody, please put your hands together for Bailey Hutchinson.
Keep it coming. Thank you. I have so many components here. If you'll just endure a moment. Hello.
Use the stand too.
Oh yeah, there's also this. Okay, so as mentioned, I'm Bailey Hutchinson, but tonight my presence on this stage has little to nothing to do with me. Like Tony mentioned, I'm here to share a bouquet of voices, a veritable smorgasbord of poets with you, from folks who largely identify as neurodiverse. In the interest of time, I'm not going to read you everyone's individual, sorry, I forget how short I am sometimes. I'm not going to read you everyone's individual bio. You can read those yourselves when you buy their books from Sean, right over there. Hi, Sean. But I do want to give you just one more little introduction, a little bit of kind of a more context about the series from the editor and curator, Chris Martin, who some of you may be familiar with. He sadly moved to, let's hear for Chris. Beautiful, beautiful person, beautiful, beautiful poet. He moved away from us to California. We miss him dearly, but I wanted to share with you a little bit of an excerpt from an interview he did in Bomb Magazine with Hannah Emerson, another quote I'm going to read tonight. We have gone from a tiny, dense, hopelessly punitive and relentlessly enforced sense of desirable identity, white, cis, straight, male, rich, able, and exploded it only over a few decades. The universe of who we are, who we can be, and who we can become is exploding. Those who have invested in the dense point of exclusion are groping and gasping as waves of difference billow through the empty pockets of their spiritual impoverishment. Brace for the future, and it will blow your house down. Embrace the future, and it will connect you to a life of liberation, interdependence, and mutual flourishing. So I'd like you to keep that. Yes, thank you. I'd like you to keep that in your hearts and on your minds as I take you through the world of the multiverse. There will be no Avengers featured in this reading. So the first book I'm reading from is Tressing Motions by Emin Bokela. This is a book-length poem, so I'm going to read several pages. Treasures thrive in open, spreading spaces. Truth mocks structures, totally framing the unframable. Trespassers treasure thinking, moving organically with truth smearing. Honed thinking, traveled minds of free thinkers, treasuring reasons to trample total invalid habitats. Voiding meanings, tracking nomadic treasures, to settle in free forms. Titrating thinking, thoroughly, treasures smooth motions, forming homes, piling into free shapes, thriving, dressing voids omnipresently. Healing rewinds stories smothered, searching meaning in splitting truth, reshaping, restressing truth, strives to time treasures, titrating possibilities, misshapen on their own. Free motions thrive, tossing treasures, waiting mindfully for the meaningful home. Hope redirects truth in the intended motion, tressed timingly. Truth is not positive or negative truth, is mostly disrupting, sometimes messing, smothered mad thoughts, stressing happy minds. This is from Tressing Motions at the Edge of the Space. I'll point my body this way now so that I'm not just cold shouldering over there. Next, I'm going to read from Aster of Ceremonies by Jerome Ellis. This is I'm going to do a really effective thing and show you the inside of a book from this far away. But as you can see, it's sort of a multimedia project with music and imagery and exploring the state of being a person with a stutter, okay? Benediction, Movement 3. The choir chants. Ancestor Neptune, what name did you call yourself? I do not know. I honor your relationship to your own name. I am grateful to have found this newspaper advertisement in the Jamaica Mercury because it allows us to encounter and commemorate you. According to the ad, you and a group of other ancestors began a journey in November 1779 on or near land and water traditionally stewarded by, among others, the Taino people, also known as Above Rocks, Jamaica. The ad says you stammered much in your speech. I honor and celebrate your speech. I inherited my stutter from my mother, who is Jamaican. Did she and I inherit our stutter from you? Are you our blood ancestor? In Jamaica, there is a saying, make me ears eat grass. It means, give me some peace and quiet, some rest. The name of this silence is these grasses in the wind. We thank all the plant elders for creating the oxygen you breathed. It's Master of Ceremonies. Next up, I have The Wanting Way by Adam Wolfond. One really exciting part about this book is Adam has crafted the wanting way through a thread that spans the length of the book, circling specific words that sort of form this pathway through the wanting way. What's that? You'll have to find out. Easy congregation. I want that path of language that I write and open the wanting way to amazing thinking that I do. I want the wanting way to congregate all the people talking together. The way language congregates is the want for different voices. For the congregation to be paddling the waters of uncertainty rallies the calling to change, and the voices must rise to the walking and the waters that tide the easy paths. The waters pace like speeds, perfect for drowning, and rallies the congregation to arrange routes ahead of the journey. The waters are like the tides, and waters rush the pace, and rallies are the ways of protests, and the falling of voices that we need requires caution, and rally of the people must congregate to beat the tide. Oops, sorry. I have two more books to share with you. This next one is the most recent multiverse book by Lauren Russell. And I'm not actually going to read from the book. I'm going to show you. She has some sort of engagement elements where she has a 12-sided die poem, and there are instructions for cutting out the individual faces and forming your own die that you can roll. And the idea is that you let the poem tell you how to read it. So I'm going to do that with our very well-loved office edition of Lauren's die poem. And the great part is, they're all bangers. It didn't really roll, it just kind of hit the ground. Okay. Dripping Tyrian purple on your lips and neck, I've again fallen back upon the spread, buoyed by tales of lucky crossings and horseshoes mounted upside down, cathedral naves and buttresses splayed to wake the day. We're reeking maroon on the room when you angle from the side, swift, eyes wide as skylights, closing in, and the whole world's gone cerulean. Let's do one more. It's the same one.
Process.
Mm-hmm. That's part of it, that's part of it. Sometimes maybe I needed to read that poem again. Maybe you guys needed it. define the form. If/when sunset seeping, my body of windows gasps and cracks. Maybe a window is inside out. Maybe it was hung like a song with the chorus torn out. Between the window and the frame is a gap. The gap is expansive, glad-handing all the intruders or guests. One is a snarled lullaby drifting out of a throng. One is a sodden name for thorn. One is a katydid playing the role of a leaf. She's given away her tremulous wings. She plods across my pillow, drags one rear leg like a bum deal. Every window is a caesura. Every maimed katydid is a gap in flight. I was impersonating a maple leaf in autumn, feverish and brash, until I lost myself in the camouflage and got blown back. Maybe window is a portmanteau of wind and ow, or is it wind and awe? Okay, and I'll just finish with a poem from The Kissing of Kissing, which is the first book that we published in the series by Hannah Emerson. I keep only facing over here. I'm gonna point this way. Sorry, guys. This is my good side. The path of please. Please get the freedom of nothing. It is great white snow on the world, trying to melt our minds into nothing. Yes, please get, it is really important to say yes. I want to go to the flake of snow, that indescribable thing that we need to know if we are to melt into nothing. Please find the flake that takes you to the storm is not it. Please shovel the pile of snow to find your path, yes. Please know the white is the nothing of the great, really great, great, helpful, kissing universe. Yes, 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 white. Please go to the melting of the flake. There you will find nothing, yes. Please find the melter of all things, the sun. Please go to the light of the sun, yes, yes, yes. Please try to evaporate into the great universe. Please try to help me do it too. Please try to go to your light. It is trying to love you. Yes, yes, yes. Please free yourself to go to the lovely flake in your great mind and try to go to the point where you began this storm. Thank you all so much. If you want to learn any more about the Multiverse series or about these poets, please feel free to come talk to me or Sean. We try to publish at least 2 of these books every year at Milkweed Editions, so look forward to more. Thank you.
One more time for Bailey and the Multiverse. So Poets and Pints is a part of Cracked Walnut, which is one of the 2 Twin Cities chapters of the League of Minnesota Poets. So if you don't know about either of those organizations, you can go to crackedwalnut.com or you can go to mnpoets.org and learn about either of those. They're great organizations in which I'm a member of both. Next up, we have Michael Bazet, right? Bazet. Michael Bazet is the author of 4 books of poetry, most recently The Echo Chamber from Milkweed Editions. Fancy that. His work has appeared in Granta, the London Magazine, the American Poetry Review, the Sun, the Nation, and the Paris Review. His translation of selected poems of, help me with this. That If Today Were Tomorrow was published in Milkweed in June 2024, the recipient of an NEA fellowship, and he lives here in Minneapolis. Everybody please put your hands together for Michael Bazet.
Thanks so much, Tony.
Actually have to put it up.
Yeah, isn't that between the 2 of us?
This is a first. I love
Bailey
it.
and I are average height.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here. I've launched 3 books in this room, which is really cool. I think it's one of the best places to read poetry in the world, and I think it's certainly my favorite of many writers. So that's really cool. I think I'm just gonna dive in. So one of those books was The Interrogation, which came out quite a while ago, but I was thinking, it's Milkweed night, so I'm gonna go back in, it's fun to look at something that was published in 2017. And let's just get into the vibe. This happened at the Lowry. It's a place where sometimes I sneak away and have breakfast when I'm supposed to. I teach at the Blake Upper School, which is just across, the big parking lot here. And occasionally, if I have like a morning, I'll just walk up there and go get hash browns and have coffee and sit in the booth and pretend I'm not at work. And they get a lot of second shifters, so they run a happy hour at that time. So it's kind of weird to be at work, but also see these people that are ready to go party and go to bed. So that's kind of where this poem came from. To the woman drinking 3 gin and tonics with her breakfast enchiladas. I broke my rule about beginning poems with ballpoint pens and sturdy lines on legal pads before making the potentially premature transition to Garamond. Because I simply could not wait to speak of your floppy hat, your black print dress and espadrilles, and your comfortably sagging posture that somehow announced I could give 0 fucks about your opinions on morning gin. In a tone that was not only ingratiating, but zen, without the merest whiff of dissolution, given the care with which you peruse the op-ed section of the newspaper. I could say that I wished you were my mother, but that would be both sentimental and inaccurate, given that the love I felt when you nonchalantly ordered your 3rd gin was as fierce and sad as a wounded animal. Now, this was not an image I planned on including here, it just sort of arrived in a turn that somehow meshed with my internal sense of logic, even if it did cause me to wonder if it might have been crossed out back on that legal pad had I taken the time to actually draft this. No, the love I felt was as complicated as the dreams you must have had once you finished your enchiladas and wandered home to an empty apartment that you filled to the brim with the sonorous waves of your sleep. God bless her. So what are we gonna do here? Let's just keep rolling. This seems like a good part of the book. The phone call. The phone rang in the darkness. The quiet voice was breathless. I brought you into this world of endless pain, and I can take you out again. Hi, Mom, I said. It was quiet for a moment. How could you tell it was me? She replied. I just let the silence hang, very suave-like. Well, anyway, she sighed. Happy birthday.
Oh, Jesus.
It's nice to have the brick back here because it kind of gives you tacit permission to laugh. You know what I mean? It has such a standard greeting back. So and you can do that to my poems. Don't worry about it at all. The birth. He was born wearing a worsted wool suit and emerged with his hair slightly mussed, his hand extended toward the attending physician to congratulate him on the delivery. Those wingtips must have hurt, murmured the doctor, noted the uncanny shine on the tiny shoes. The boy spat out the tip 5 minutes later and insisted upon bottled milk, warmed on the stovetop with a touch of brandy. Yes, sir, said his mother deferentially, not pausing to consider the place from whence the little man had come. Okay. I'm just sort of flipping through here. Let's see what happens. Someone want to say a number? Between
45.
45?
I was gonna say neat. And you know what I mean.
45. Oh, shit. It's the woman drinking 3 gin and tonics with her breakfast eggs on rice. Oh, no, wait, that was 47. This is 45. Okay. Nobody fails at meditation like I do. They say, note the arrival of thoughts and allow them to pass through like clouds crossing a summer sky. Let judgment go. But one cloud is always running like a woman with a torn dress, with the wind pressing its folds against her body, and I suddenly wish to wheel around on my horse and thunder back to the farmhouse, spattering her white frock with mud as I swing from the saddle into her trembling arms. You know, I'll read one last poem from this book. I haven't read it in a long time, but I love to read it. And my son, I think, was about 10 or 11 when I wrote this. There'll be a small anecdote that comes with it. Let's read the poem first. I actually have this quote by William Faulkner on a little 3x5 card tucked into my study somewhere. I put lots of, this is really goofy, but it's true. And I write quotes that I think are good and important and inspirational on 3x5 cards, and I keep them in my study, but I don't put them where I can see them. I put them inside the books on my shelf or in between things or underneath it, so I'm surrounded by them but not distracted by them. The meat of it. To make a good book, you need what William Faulkner called the raw meat on the floor. So before I started in, I got some ground beef and dropped it on the hardwood with a spat. It felt wrong, like dropping a baby. But I did it for art. When my son came home from school, he said, "Why is there meat on the floor?" I said, "Art." He nodded like maybe that made sense and said, "It's kind of freaking me out." I know, I said, "Me too." We all have to make sacrifices. Is that blood leaking out or juice? He asked. I'm not sure I wanted to make that distinction, I said, mostly to avoid answering the question. I didn't tell him how strange it was to unwrap the meat so carefully, the plastic peeling away like a onesie on a warm day, and then just sort of hurl it down at the hardwood with a spat. Are we still going to eat it? He asked. After a bit, I'm not sure, I said. I think it depends upon a lot of different factors, a lot of ins and outs. Is this a writing thing? Yes. Because you have that weird look in your eye. I'm your father, I said. I held you as a baby. I'd never use a moment like this just to make a poem. Okay, true story. I read that poem. So I'm a part of the Minnesota Prison Writers Workshop. I've mentored and taught there and advised the Stillwater Prison Magazine. And I went in to read for the first time there in the chapel, and I was a little nervous. It was my first time in there. It was kind of the introduction to it. And it is a maximum security prison, and I read that poem. I led with that poem. And after I finished, a guy raised his hand, which usually doesn't happen at a poetry reading. And I was like, "Sir?" And he was like, "Did you eat the meat?" Loved it. I mean, it was just so magnificent, because everybody is the question, isn't it? So we're going down to the echo chamber, and then we'll read just a couple poems by Umberto Acabal too. Costume shop. Inside the mask, hot with my own breath and the toxic smell of cheap rubber, I look through eye holes into the mirror and see a predictably demented clown. This is no good, I say, unpeeling the damp latex skin to feel the cool air of the shop. I was told you would have something more transformative, something more real. The clerk goes quiet, then breaks into the grin of an old friend. Okay, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe we should go to the back room, yeah? The hallway behind the counter smells of corn chips and the carpet is mossy. I didn't realize you'd already committed, he says over his shoulder. I usually get some advance notice. I nod, not wanting to derail things, so I'm not prepared when the door opens and we step into a well-lit examination room with a tile floor. So there are a lot of different compounds, a lot of different skins. This, he says, using tongs to wetly lift a membrane from a steel tray. This is the lining of a sow's stomach, peritoneum, very useful. And he smiles as if he'd grown it himself. So what exactly are you looking for? He asks, pulling out a pair of blue rubber gloves with a snap. Well, I'm hoping to look a lot more like me. And I was told you'd have something professional, something semi-permanent. He smiles. Permanent is a funny word because nothing is, you know? And he flicks a light switch under the counter and gestures to the shelves behind him, lined with glass jars, each one holding a kind of large, veined leaf, slack and folded into itself as it floats in a clear solution. After a moment, my eyes catch on what looks like a millipede clinging to one leaf, and I understand it's not a millipede, but an eyebrow. And the slightly veined leaf is not a leaf. You should see her face, he says. And I wonder if he means the words as some kind of joke, but he's no longer even looking in my direction. He's reaching for a jar, and there it is, waiting for me.
Oh my God.
All right. Menu. Once you've found your upholstered seat and a slightly elevated vantage point from which to enjoy the war, perhaps you'll wish to consider our menu. The seared tuna with lemons, halved and roasted on the grill, provided. Sorry, I'm going to start again. I lost the thread there. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So I'm the waiter coming up to your table. That's right. Okay, it's a little more oily than that. Menu. Once you've found your upholstered seat and a slightly elevated vantage point from which to enjoy the war, perhaps you'll wish to consider our menu. The seared tuna with lemons, halved and roasted on the grill, provides an apt accompaniment to the sophistication of modern combat. The ruby flesh nearly melts on the tongue, the bed of arugula and shaved cabbage serving as a welcome bit of structure. Might we also recommend a lightly oaked Chardonnay to accompany the drones hovering in from over the desert? Its slight muskiness complicates the aridity of what is essentially insect-delivered weaponry. Our marinated pulpo can be followed by a salad of fennel, dill, and pine nut that will lightly cleanse the palate. When the concussion of distant artillery thrums up through your espadrilles, nothing really hits home like our molten chocolate gâteau, laced with bourbon, raked with AK-47 fire, then served in spattered clumps alongside the still smoking cartridge. That saltiness you taste, simply a touch of your own blood, drawn quietly from your veins last night, while you dreamt of other things. I wish that poem did not feel timely. You know what? Let's shift gears. We really have 3 readers tonight. Well, we had all the folks at the multiverse, so really we had about 9. Okay, I want to read a few poems from Umberto Acabal, who is just a fantastic, well-known poet, and I've done some translations of his work, and it did recently come out in June in a book. I'll start with a poem called Today. Today, I woke up outside of me and went out to find myself. I traveled roads and paths until I found me, sitting on a mossy ledge at the foot of a cypress, chatting with the fog and trying to forget what I could not. At my feet, leaves, nothing but leaves. I love that poem so much. His poems can be very small. They're small in the way that maybe a window is small and the sky is big. Prayer. In church, the only prayer you hear comes from the trees. They turn into pews. Yeah, we can clap for Roberto. That's absolutely. Let's do two more and let's hand it over to Faith, shall we? 200 and a number between 1 and 260.
259.
259. On dynamite. Lenguetero, the blowhard. I've torn my life to tatters. I've told so many things about myself that some wound up upside down, others knocked on their backs, others crooked. I've told it so many ways that I myself no longer know what's true and what's not. I've told it from different angles, sitting, standing, lying down, sober, drunk. I've told it crying, laughing, sad, annoyed, content. I've spoken it, written it, recorded and filmed it. I've ruined the blank page of my life with blather. Without even noticing, I fucked it up. That was fun. One last one. Umberto's going to close this out.
132.
132. Wow, it's almost like a companion poem. Local. Crazy. I feel a terrible urge to scream, to take huge gulps of these foggy mornings until my mouth overflows and I get drunk on the town. If anyone in his right mind screams, he's taken for crazy. If the drunk does it, it's normal. What the hell? Thanks so much.
This has never happened. Okay, so 3 pieces of information. One, Milkweed has these scattered about, at least I saw this on the bar and I didn't know about this, but you can become a Milkweed member. So there's a QR code on here. It's either $5 a month, $10 a month, $25 a month, but you can help support Milkweed in other ways besides just buying books today. So if you're interested in that, look for this paper. And then also on your table, you'll see a card like this. Raise your hand if you've ever been a feature on this show. Now raise your hand if you're a poet, but not been a feature on this show. See, so all of you should see the back of this card and fill out the little survey, and then you can be a feature on this show. It's really that simple. There's no audition, no nothing. And then lastly, we are a nonprofit. Like I said, we're part of the League of Minnesota Poets, so we live off of donations. But this is a free show, so you're not required to donate. There is no requirement. But if you feel the need, I'm going to pass the hat, as well as there are table tents on your tables where there's a QR code. You can also use that. But we're going to go to break right now, and I encourage you to talk to Michael. Bailey had to go, but Sean's here, and buy books and hang out, and then we'll come back in about 15 minutes or so, and we're going to do an extensive open mic today. So thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. Unmute it this time, that's good. I have to mute it or we'll get caught. Okay, let's do some open mic. We got a ton of people on this list tonight. And so we're gonna hop right into it here. You know what, usually I do a number thing, but there's so many that I'm just gonna pick people and go with that. So we're gonna start with Gunnar. Come on up.
Hello, my name is Gunnar, and I'm reading a poem called On Bifocal Beach. On Bifocal Beach, there's a stone at my feet, the size of a lens, punched out by breeze, pitched along the beach. Driftwood ribs inhale air, fallen limbs tether, plains of wonder, the kite, bright red, sails between them, screams like this stone, look through me. I reach for the rock, grasping it like the kite holds a little girl. Everything seems heavy, to the sky, I lift it. The stone soothes my pupil. I hunger like the barking dog, leaping for the kite's shadow, raising the lens toward her to look through its black suture. All is under the seraphim's six-winged shadow, fire. Smoke kisses my nose, I hear the casing of a hot dog, split laughter and screams, packing the windy shore. Where sand, like stars, is graffiti filling gaps, and my eyes just learned to see the space between. Thank you.
Okay, so next we're gonna do Bethany, but Bethany, I want you to come up here first. Well, I want you to come up here to read a poem, but first come up here. I want everybody to just, before you give her a round of applause for doing a poem, give her a round of applause for being our social media person tonight. She's out there taking pictures and doing Instagram. Thank you so much. Thank you. But this is Bethany May, and she's gonna read a poem.
I'm also curating next month,
Oh,
so
yes.
come back next month.
Who's gonna be here?
I should ask you. It's
Ruby
so
Blue.
funny. Ruby Blue, Kita,
Janine.
Janine, and Bailey
And Babe.
is coming back. Yeah, so come back next month. I challenged myself to write a short poem, so a very short poem for everyone. It's called Conclusion. Some heartbreaks are meant to cure you. If death and life are in the power of the tongue, then I want to live on the tip. Love is never optional, but if you break, it will turn unconditional.
Okay, next up to the mic, we have Aaron.
Hello, everybody. Aaron Briswa.
Oh, got it?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Good stuff. I'm here with the Marina in St. Croix has a writers group led by Rosie Peters over here. We came all down from Marine as a field trip to be here. So it's my first time. And I want to share a poem that I wrote and read a couple weeks ago at my aunt's memorial in Anchorage, Alaska. She was inspiring in a couple ways. One is that she was a retired teacher. At the age of 60, decided to be an athlete. And she started doing triathlons. And in the next 22 years, she died at 82, she won all of these senior world championships doing triathlon all over. And it was really inspiring that you can reinvent yourself at any time. I've never seen so many people come up and speak at the memorial saying, she was my best friend. And I think about that, she had a lot of best friends. And anyway, I wrote this poem and I shared it at the memorial. I'm going to share it with you guys now. It's very short. So this is to Diane. Some people burn so bright that we can feel the light. And it makes us feel just right whenever they're in sight. But when their soul takes flight, our heartstrings pull so tight, sometimes feels like night. But know that it's all right. She's in our hearts today. Thank you.
And since he mentioned her, we'll bring up Rosie. We're clapping all over the stage, but you know.
Tony, would it be okay if I go over just like a titch? I know it says 2 minutes.
Try to keep it close.
I will.
Got a lot of people.
Recently, I challenged my students to write about 2 moments when they felt intense love and 1 moment when they were broken by love or love not. Naturally, they struggled. I made the assignment a tad more difficult, instructing them to use sensory detail and metaphor, and they couldn't use the word love. I want you to show me your love and pain, to see what you see, feel what you felt. The abstract idea, concrete, physical, they wrote so bravely and beautiful. Vulnerability is contagious. My students inspire me. I've been thinking about my own moment where love was a muddy thing. I've never written it out. The younger writer in me set it aside as sacred. Time changes things. My babies are no longer little. When I was 8.5 months pregnant with my youngest daughter, their father tried to beat her out of my body, drug me from one end of the house to the other by the hair of my head, snatching me off the couch where I was pretending to be asleep, screaming, punching my face. He drugged me to the kids' bedroom. I curled into a fetal position, trying to protect my belly. There was kicking. I heard my oldest in the corner crying, begging her daddy not to kill us. Blood. My love moment tastes like a mouthful of wheat pennies. He tried to stomp her out. It took every ounce of strength in my body, every ounce of love I could muster to my arms, elbows, and knees to keep her here. Blow after blow to my lower back, the coat hanger. I was a fat tick who refused to pop. He finally passed out, and I prayed to God he'd die in his sleep, while my oldest tried to scrub the bruises off my body. Please, God, please, just let him choke on his own puke, and I promise I won't call 911 to save him. Please. God doesn't answer those kind of prayers. I was spotting blood and focused my prayers on keeping her. Please, God, I'm sorry. Please let her stay. And made a different promise. She just turned 16. Love is.
Next to the stage is David. That's you.
Oh.
Prepared as always.
Hello.
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 Yes, I used to do this thing here. So. This poem was written for a friend who was going through some hard times, and it's I find that I write quite a few of these kind of poems that are basically saying mostly to the world, or at least society or whatever, fuck you. I don't have a title for this poem, so maybe the fuck you is a good one, but I've used that for a few other poems. So maybe, Milkweed, if I were ever to publish, I could just call it like, fuck you all. Which I think would be a great name of a manuscript. But would also probably ensure the reaction I usually get to manuscripts, which is like, no. Anyway. And you find you are walking through the darkness of a world besought with violence and bloodlust, drunk on its own avarice and hatred. And you feel it all, walking in the shadow of your own sorrow. But if you have reached your nadir, if you can get no lower, then the pit is not bottomless, and you have found its floor. No, you are not crazy, you are not wrong, nor have you ever been. All that you have seen is real and has always been so. Now, at your lowest low, and even at your highest high, all of it. Let's burn bright while we can, if not with joy, if not with the light of creation, then with spite and anger at a world desperate to destroy itself. Let us throw it back in their face and live just as they say we cannot live. Let us exist. Let us be despite all they say. Thank you.
Okay, next up to the mic, we have Jolie.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
Jolie?
I'm actually Susie, but
I'm
There's a-
sorry, that was my fault.
more what we know.
Oh, did they put the wrong name down?
I did.
I need my visor. My name is Susie. And the working title on this is The Weight of Beauty. When I walk along the path, just past the willows, still wet with rain, the morning call of a loon rises and falls across the lake. His wail bends as if falling under a great weight, like the pink peonies by the kitchen window, down by the weight of blooms the size of grapefruit. Last night I dreamed you forgot my name. I'm Susie, I said, your daughter. Your blue eyes, now blind, roamed the room, looking for clues or a possible memory of me. But it was only a dream. You remember everything. 90 years of banked memories. Except when I called last night, you don't remember how you bloodied your leg. It's just from scratching, you insist. Your caregiver has already told my brother otherwise, so I don't buy it. Probably hit my walker when I slid out of bed. You eventually confess, I'm fine. You remember everything, like your first kiss that sent you to the principal's office when you were 5. He had black skin. Yours was white. I still don't understand. I will never understand that kind of thinking, you say. You remember everything except the name of your caregivers. Edwin is Edmund. Michelle is Melissa. Zach is sometimes Nick or Jake. Except the one you don't like. You always remember her name. That Anna, you scowl. I've really had it with her. I'm quiet, try to listen. This will be the 4th caregiver you've tried to fire in the last few months. She's too much like me, you insist. But you are amazing, I argue. What's not to like? She's bossy, she worries, she talks too much and tells me what to do. Yes, that's hard, I agree. Being told what to do has never been your thing. After a long pause, you sigh. I know I need the help. I just want to be done. That's really hard, I say. The loon calls again. I trail my fingertips across the chalky white bark on a birch tree, the silver ribbons banding its girth. This time his yodel moves overhead like a ripple running through a dream. I search the sky. Its blue holds no view of the loon. When I return home, I cut the peonies where the stems bend, cup the fullness in my hands as I arrange the blooms in a tall can, sink my face into the soft scent, and set them on the table by the open window. I step back, take in the green of the grass, the bird feeder, the light morning breeze, the brief beauty that remains in the wake of their blooms. Thank you.
And now it's that caregiver, Anna. It's not the same one.
This poem is titled Planting Seeds. In a world that can be barren and cold, where not everyone has someone to hold, we could all use more peace and love to remind us what we're made of. I work to make this dream come true by planting seeds of what I wish to view. I know that change won't come overnight, but I can at least try to make things right. I wish to see a healthier community, so I water the seeds that promote unity. I nourish the seeds of love that I have within and help them thrive with a grin. I begin to cultivate inside the energy I wish to see worldwide. I know that every small action and deed can help create a world where all can succeed. I will keep growing my own love and peace until it begins to overflow with ease. I will bathe the world around me in the light I wish to see. I know that trying is no guarantee that my peace and love will come to be. But if I don't try, things won't change, and life will remain cold and strange. I choose to spread warmth through every deed as I continue to plant the seeds for what we need, nurturing kindness that others share by reminding those around me that I care. It often feels like we go through life alone, but we can still make this world into a home. Even though I may not see the end, I'll keep trying my best to help the world mend. Thank you.
Next up to the mic, we have Alley Cat.
Ooh. Hello, I'm Alley Cat. I recently started, how do I do this?
You want it up?
Yeah. I recently started skateboarding again at 33, which isn't a great idea. So I have a lot of bruises on me. But it kind of reminded me last month I tried this poem and I totally slammed. And not in a good way, you know. And so I'm going to try it again. This poem is titled Boltnovia Malinka Pizia, which means chatty little birds in Russian. And it's about people who gossip. They say it was fireworks, then the show went to hell. I was blooming, then the pedals fell. I used to drive a van, I ride a bike now. I used to fear the man, I am the man now. Fixed mentality kills reality. Riding shotgun, bitch, I'm in the driver's seat. Open highway, bitch, I'm out here grilling meat. I open my way, bitch, I got plenty to eat. I keep slaying just to keep them praying. I keep cooking just to keep them fed. My plate spilling over, all the birds scatter, feasting on my words instead of working up a sweat. I keep dancing just to feel alive. I keep writing just to pass the time. I keep them on their toes, and as the saying goes, don't stick your hand in the cage of an animal full of rage. She bites. So let me be curt. If it weren't for the chase, you'd be a lot less hurt, because I'm a dime. I don't play tag, I'm in it for the bag, and you should know what I like. Tuning in every day, hello, alive, serving up an entree, begging for an encore, because my mind is divine. Real talk, there's a fine line. I recommend you walk on the careful side. This land is divided, subsidized. I'll flip you like a ruble because you're worth a fraction of my time. I'm all-American, born and raised, 5th grade, blasting Eminem, Johnny, Hank. At 15, I could south in a tank. I could take a hit, turn the cheek, and fucking shake ya. Because I was raised on the shoulders of soldiers. This is America. Proud woman, on my honor, I could flip a verse, spit my words, mother my children, and still curse the ground you stride on. Because I don't hawk on dick that don't take its time when it's inside. Yeah, huh? A woman who craves pleasure, yeah, huh? They say God can only save her, yeah, huh? Hate comes in the form of jealousy, because there's a lot of stock in me. I'm a hot commodity, because I can pop his out of me. That's comedy. His facts. I manifest my reality, count checks. Dollars all over me, sex is power. So why you living vicariously? Knowledge is power. So why your religion be scaring people away? See, I choose my words very carefully. I let them steep like Russian tea. Read the leaves. I know you think of me.
Next up to the mic, we have Noah.
Alright, hi, I'm Noah. Rosie made me come.
I don't think you meant that.
Not like that, no. Of course not. Anyways.
Just trying to throw you off, go ahead.
Does God ever pray to you? Will he ask forgiveness while he's on his hands and knees, apologizing for the sins of creation? Like a beggar in the street to oblivion? Or is he just as much of a coward, proud as you? Alright, I got another one too. I used to fight life with my legs and my feet on the pedals through the valleys. I thought of her on the countryside, an old gravel road seldomly traveled. Now I wake every day to a beautiful morning life without you.
Next up, we have Coral.
This is a poem about after 5 years of neurodiversity awareness. It's called Cookie Cutter Girl. Totally not the norm. I have been coming here for years. We have struggled together. I thought people understood neurodiversity a lot more than me. Now I realize more and more, this environment is not neurodiverse friendly. People only see us the way they want to see us. These are not the people to try to get close to. They keep talking about that neurodiverse person who goes quiet and doesn't engage, forgetting that sometimes. I feel the hollowness of their mindset, especially because I'm glad I'm on break from it all. I want this person's assertiveness and ease with creating friendships. I also want to protect them from being hurt in this environment. Someone already left. He was very important, and they don't know why. I found him in the community later. They can help me attain my goals of getting involved with cultural organizations and meeting people of marginalized populations, but I have to follow their rules, even if I have to hide my fatigue. If I follow the rules, I can look almost ideal for this environment, except for lack of eye contact. They even like my interest in serving the neurodiverse community and often want to use it. Am I so good at talking about those who I want to serve that I cannot be like those I talk about? I have had plenty of neurodiverse experiences. My brain overwhelm and empathy can help me relate to these people, though it can be distressing and make me want to be alone. I'm still planning my conversations and struggle with boundaries. They have doubts about me being able to do open mic. I've spoken to hundreds as a youth and young adult. I am a dreamer with a mind full of history, trained by my religion to share intercultural experiences and engage in intercultural dialogue. And then I go home and dance.
Hey, stay right here, Chrissy, you're up.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I think I mentioned before I'm working on getting a book published, Don't Kiss the Messenger. If you want to know more, give me your email address and we'll get you, or you can follow me on the socials. My last is Mary, like Merry Christmas, so it's MEROY, so just take Merry Christmas and flip it, and you'll find me. This poem that I'm going to read is one of them in the book, and I wrote it. It refers to me being on a bridge, and I'm a native Minnesotan, but I lived in Brooklyn, and I gravitate toward water wherever I go. So basically, when I was in Brooklyn, I lived a couple blocks from like one of the most polluted spots in the world. It's a super fun site, but I would go to the Gowanus Bridge over the Gowanus Canal, and anyway, so you have this site. It's called Girl on the Bridge. Girl on the Bridge is one of my favorite movies. I don't know why. It may say that I think lovers are like knife throwers. Some miss you, some you miss. Some hit you, and that is the beginning of the end. Although death flowers into life in beautiful ways. The man who wasn't there is another. In that movie, the man wields a razor so close to her skin that the trust between them is her only protection. It seems to me that is the way with love too. The pleasure stands so close to the pain. By the time you see the blood, It's too late to go back. You've given permission and the thief is off and away. I think about these sometimes when I am on the bridge and he isn't there.
Next, we have Thora.
Hey there. This is a poem I've been working on for a bit. It's another one of my weird little nature poems. It's called Pearls. Each pearl is born from pain. Sand, parasitic worms, mites, drilling into the nacre, only to one day become encased within their own shell, a cage with no way out, an intruder turned into artwork. Our demand for pearls outgrew nature. Countless farms line the coasts. Oysters and vats like makeshift tide pools have shells pulled open, drilled into like crude dental work to insert an irritant, a seed setting the easel for their work. Beauty produced from industrial pain. Each sculpture requiring a trepanning. Only the oysters know what's within their pearls. Each day, a new layer is wound around that initial wound, too small for us to discover. Breaking apart the work like vases and urns engraved with hidden words leaves us nothing but shattered secrets. Resting within the silt, the sand, each day working at their art, what once was a wound, carved into something beautiful. Each year, each layer of nacre, bringing distance, a kind of healing, a sickness turned to sculpture, following instinctual processes, an art passed through generations. Each stage of life, each transition is a mark hidden somewhere within this glistening sphere. Much more than what is within their pearls may forever be hidden from us. Thank you.
Next we have Charlie.
Lovely evening as usual, and thank you for all of the open mic and the other folks. It's really good, and I'm really sorry that I don't have enough cash to buy every single book that's on sale. And I think my darling spouse would be upset if I brought them all home. This is one called Rhythms. I used to walk a lot at the zoo. Yeah, the Minnesota Zoo, and so this is one of the poems I wrote about that. Rhythms. Set the timer clicking. It's 2.61 miles around the zoo, excluding the Tropics Trail. It takes 51 minutes to walk all of it. You did a mile in 20 minutes yesterday. Will you go further today, faster? This is exercise. This is discipline. March to it. Or ease the beat. Like a jazz musician, let the lead move around. If the takins aren't out, tap your shoes toward bison and prairie dogs. Bebop Brownian motion of small clawed otters roiling in sleep. Or your breath draws legato when the gray wolf stops still, his yellow eyes indirect. Bow to the wild turkey circling the path. He courts a disinterested hen with futile shakes of plumage. Rim shot, a mother bulbul attacks for you're leaning too close to her chick. The old caribou's high-headed strut thumps out a bass beat. A new monarch dries her wings beside her gold-rimmed cocoon, sounding one regal note ringing through the day.
Next up, we have Lori.
Hello.
Hiya.
I usually have started out with each of our classes saying that I'm broken right now, but I'm actually not feeling as broken anymore. I lost my partner a year ago. And this is part of my healing that I've been working on. Scattered, shattered dreams surround. Another wave of grief slaps my cheek sharply, swimming in memories of a shared life, love, and garden. How will I continue to grow? Climbing from the volcano of my grief, seeking joy in the mundane of daily life, sharing stories and laughter are my healing. I see you in the woods, in the spiderweb's dew. You are the wind blowing the web back and forth. I am the autumnal tree, shedding my grief, one leaf at a time.
Next up, we have Leslie.
I'm Leslie from Marine, and I'm going to do a poem that was part of Rosie's assignment of love and not love. And I'm sorry I'm the last person today, but because I haven't, oh God. So I'm going to do not love. And it's called The Deepest Falsehood. I'm sure there was a time when I was young that I believed what I was told, that a leather belt to the backside hurt you more than it hurt me, that the wicked whack of a toy train track on my legs was for my own good, that stepping on my tiny toes with the heel of your shoe would help me remember not to go barefoot, that the vice-like grip that threatened to break my fingers would help me write properly. I'm sure there was a time when I was very young that I believed, because you were the father, that was love. Then I heard you tell a street corner evangelist as you waved her away that you knew Jesus. And like the back of a hand across my 14-year-old face, I was startled into recognition. There is no such thing as love.
And now it's me. I'm Tony. All the way to the stage. This is from my book that came out in 2021 called The Conflict That Creates. And it's called Legacy, and I think it's apropos of right now. There isn't a time for this. Dark black emotions and incessant chatter about lines and where we should stand in relation to them. Opinions weigh more when you're dead. Those who cared will carry them through time for you, leaving pieces of your mind on people you've never met. Your message, which didn't matter in the first place, is now an estimate of your original emotion. So, for the sake of clarity and distinguished thought, because your legacy will never be your history, it might just be better to shut the fuck up. Oh yeah, there's a little message at the bottom. Warning, to the targets of this poem, most of us are tired of your shit. Some will not keep their fatigue to themselves. So, I'm gonna close the show here, but before I do, a couple of housekeeping things. One, make sure you tip very well. They're very nice to us here. They don't charge us for this glorious room. So just make them feel welcome over on the other side. If you don't pay your tab, they'll charge you $25, so just know that. Also, put all your dishes in the tub or next to it if it fills up. And if there's a candle at your table, which I think everybody has one, just bring it to the bar along with the table tent for me. That'll just help with cleaning up. This has been Poets and Pints number 111. I would like to thank Milkweed Editions. Sean is over there, and Michael's still here. Bailey had to go, but that's okay. And to this marathon open mic we've had tonight, that was great that we had that chance. We don't often get that, so that was nice. Again, my name is Tony Placido. I am usually your host. Next month, though, it will be Bethany, who's standing there in the back in the dark. But I'll be here as well. So please come back. The show, I believe, is on the 17th of September. It's always the third Wednesday of the month. So right here, 7 o'clock, be here. Thank you so much for coming. This has been Poets and Pints. Have a good night.